This is not an Onion headline, believe it or not. Biden to mark upcoming 500,000 COVID-19 deaths with a candle lighting ceremony on Monday, which I guess they mean today or maybe next Monday. I guess it's today. Yeah, it's going to happen soon. It's going to happen at 6:15 Eastern. We'll try to make sure we're wrapped here so everybody can catch it. I know you're probably really wanting to make sure. No relief to people, but we have a candlelight. I bet if we reach 1,000 deaths, Jill's going to have a light show for everybody. That's what they'll do. She'll do an art show. She'll do.
Yeah. Oh my God. She's going to do like a Bob Ross live stream.
That's if we reach 2 million. She'll do a paint by numbers with Jill Biden. Dr. Jill Biden had to catch myself.
That's when she mentioned she has a Patreon because she's starting a production company.
Yes. They'll start the production company in office. They won't even wait.
Dr. Jill Biden. It's called Dr. Jill Biden's Production and Co.
Isn't it awesome? And look, I get it. She's, a doctor or whatever. She's earned that. But isn't it kind of interesting that like everybody was wetting themselves when like, oh, she's wearing a scrunchie. She put up some paper hearts on the White House lawn. And did it kind of strike you as a little ironic that the same people who insist on calling her doctor are praising her like she's in middle school?
Oh my gosh. So I think it's like I don't give a shit what she does.
Yeah, I don't either.
Like, I am just baffled at how quickly we can forget that we're in the middle of a pandemic and we have you on video saying that we're getting $2,000 checks. That wasn't a mistake. That was a lie. And, like Dr. Jill Biden, like, great, she earned her doctorate. I haven't. That's awesome. Good for her. But, like, maybe instead of putting hearts in the front yard, maybe put out a sign that says something horribly vulgar, like, I'm going to divorce my husband if he doesn't give you all $2,000.
Or get your $2,000 here.
Yeah, set it on fire on live stream. That's kind of like what I would like to see. Dr. Biden, if you're listening, I know you are. I would like you to put that in the front yard and then light it on fire live as a demonstration of your commitment to all of the people who've been suffering as a result of the pandemic and economic crisis.
I think that's a fantastic idea. Political action from our first ladies.
Yeah.
I'm all for it.
Thank you. And I also am available for hire. If you are looking for someone to do your PR and writing as well, Dr. Biden, I have a lot of ideas that involve burning things.
Just make sure you're real clear on what your salary is.
It's $1 bajillion.
I heard 1,400.
I would take that too. But
I said 2,000 a week. I heard 1,400. I heard. Well, wait a second. What did you get in your last paycheck? Doesn't that count against? No, that's not how it works. Oh, we're confused on numbers, I think.
Yeah, I mean, that's confusing. I'm gonna have like a very written contract, but instead of us signing it, it's actually just going to be drops of our blood. So I think just like the seriousness of what it would take to have this written document signed by both of us, I think we'll get it.
And you won't have to worry about the cut on your hand because she's a doctor.
Right, and apparently we're getting universal health care. Apparently.
Who was it that thought she was a medical doctor? Was that it was somebody on The View?
You know what would be horribly ironic is if it was Ben Carson, who actually is a medical doctor, who never did anything useful for any of us, and in fact made HUD worse. So
way worse. Isn't he like a particular kind of surgeon?
I think he's a neurosurgeon.
Yeah, but it's like I don't know. I read this somewhere like a long time ago, and it was just an opinion piece, but it's basically like the type of surgeon he is. It's like you don't necessarily have to be a medical genius per se or anything like that. You just have to be able to really follow directions for this one particular thing. And so it's
Wow.
like he can just really follow directions for this one. I don't know if that's true or not. Like I don't know the first thing about that field, but yeah,
I
I
don't
don't
know
know.
it.
I did
I
hear that.
wouldn't trust me. I
Right.
wouldn't.
I wouldn't trust me either. Yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, I'm left-handed, so I mean, you give me a pair of scissors, I'm done.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, a
I think
left-handed
that's.
can opener changed my life.
I wonder if they do make lefty surgeon scissors. But I would say I would not, if I had a choice between Dr. Carson and any other doctor to do whatever that procedure is, I would choose the other doctor personally. That is my humble opinion.
Yeah. I mean, they'd be like, "Well, this was just a medical intern." I'm like, "I gotta start somewhere. Bring the
Sounds
intern in.
good.
I'm on
Yep.
board."
Yep.
Interns got
Let them
everything to
learn on
prove.
me.
Yeah.
Do
Well, their
this.
career's on the line. If they fuck this up, they're done. So they're not gonna mess this up. This is it.
Yeah.
This is game
Yeah.
time. Coach has put
Thank
you in.
you. Yes. And I think like the candle lighting and all this bullshit, like, man, if I had like one of those destroy a room things, you can like rent a room full of like glass and break it all, like that would
Yeah.
feel really good to me right now. I've never been that great at expressing my anger verbally, so I just turn it into jokes. So I feel like I need to just write a bunch of jokes about how ridiculous it is that we're getting candles instead of healthcare.
That's all you can do at this point. I mean, yeah, it's so ridiculous. And I feel that way like every day where it's like you just wake up and you're just like, what are we really? Is this are we why are we still doing this?
This
Like
is really it.
that's what I
This
do when I
is
look
really
around
it.
the United States. I'm like, why are we still doing this? Is this like serious? We're gonna have a
We
candlelight
are.
vigil. We've reached
We
this
are.
point.
Yes.
Uh
And in 2060, which is the other 60s, we are going to I I don't know. I mean, if this is the direction we're moving in and this is progress, I have a lot of questions.
yeah, no kidding, right? Like,
Yeah.
do you think we're de-evolving?
Yes. Yes.
Oh
I
man.
do. In some ways, yes. In
Yet
some
you
ways,
wanted
no.
to go to the future a few minutes ago.
Yeah. So this is what's confusing to me is like in some ways, I know that we are evolving. Like I watch some show like I recently watched Friends again in its entirety and I'm like, holy shit. Like the 90s and early 2000s were extremely misogynistic and they made a whole bunch of like homophobic jokes and I'm like,
Mhm.
ugh, like how did this even pass? But all those era shows do the same. And I'm like, in some ways, I feel like we can pick up on the fact that hey, this is inappropriate. Hey, it's not normal that my boss hits on me. Hey, I don't get paid what a guy gets paid and it's not okay. Will I get paid what a guy gets paid if I speak up? No, maybe you'll get fired. But at least I know that I'm being taken advantage of. That's where we are in our society. But the fact that every other developed country has some sort of system where if you go to the doctor, you can get treatment and not ruin the rest of your life. That's something that I'm confused about. I'm confused about how we have had such successful propaganda that we're like, wait, no, if my neighbor gets healthcare, that means I have less.
Well, I think you bring a huge theme into this that I really want to know your thoughts on. Why is it? Because I mean, this is a question that has kept me up at night, and I'm sure it probably has for you too. But why is it that
Definitely. Whatever it is, I've been up at night.
I'm in? You had me at keeps you up at night. Um,
Yeah.
but why is it that? Because I agree with you, like as a society, there has been significant progress in both of our lifetimes. I mean, we both were celebrating in the street when, gay marriage was legalized and all these other things. And those are great things, absolutely. But why is it that society is progressing, yet that's not being replicated politically. And in fact, politically, I would say overall, we're going in the other direction. We're becoming, in many ways, like a further right society than progressing, like in the political sphere. So why do you think that is?
It is, I think the number one answer to all of our problems is corporate money in politics.
Yeah.
And we don't hear anything about that from our electeds because they get it. They receive that money. And in order to get people like Cori Bush in, I mean, it took her multiple runs. It took her all the support, like Justice Democrats, Brand New Congress, like all the groups that got behind her and sent volunteers and phone banked and donated and all that. She won with single digits the second time that she ran against this guy. So I mean, I love groups like Justice Democrats and Brand New Congress and what they do. And if every cycle we can get more Cori Bushes into office, more people like her, then yeah, let's keep chipping away that way. But in the meantime, it's almost like whenever I think about what I was taught in school, like I was taught that we have a budget to balance federally,
Yeah.
that
And
deficits cause inflation, and that's not real. And so I mean, it's electoralism, it's getting the right people into office, which is a slow and steady process, but it's also somehow we have to mass educate people to reverse all the propaganda. And I did a tweet thread about this the other day, but like something as simple as the fact that we all know the Pledge of Allegiance. We said it every morning. We like stood up and pledged to a flag. And the fact that like Colin Kaepernick got so much shit for protesting that people that look like him get murdered by the police all the time because it's disrespectful to a piece of material that we pledged allegiance to every single morning. Like we have been programmed as like
yeah.
patriotic robots, and to undo that is going to take a huge effort. And that is why like people like you that have a show, that you speak the truth to power. I mean, I really appreciate the independent media because you're not being paid to tell us a bunch of lies like everyone else.
Yeah, I mean,
I thank you for listening.
oh, well, thank you. Yeah, no, and yeah, I think those are, yeah, I mean, those are all like, you're totally right on. I would add to it, um, I think electoralism as a whole is a small piece, and I think it's a smaller piece than we realize even, and I'm guilty of over amplifying it. I think everyone is because it's, it's juicy to talk about, but,
Mhm.
um, but I think that really we need like societal actions, and I think, the most, I mean, the one thing that I'm a huge proponent for, that I talk about every single show, that people are probably sick of me saying, but I won't stop until it freaking happens, is a general strike.
Yes.
I think we just need a general strike, and I think we just need, because like even getting better people in office, which of course I'm for getting better elected officials in office. Why wouldn't you want that? Why would you be
Mhm.
like, well, let's just have shitty people? No, of course it's good to have better people,
Yes.
but those better people are still going into a system that is meant for not the people they want to serve, that is meant
Mhm.
for the donor class in Wall Street. They're
Yeah.
still going into that system. So you still need like genuine systemic change. Like otherwise, those better elected officials are going to get weeded out, or just completely prevented. So
Mhm.
so it's like you still, like, I think we need just massive action, as far as like, well, we're not just going to be willing participants anymore. We're going to shut this down.
I
until
love
you
it.
kind of meet us. I mean, and plus, you know, one scratches the other back. Like, I mean, elected officials, even the ones with better intentions, it's not like they're just gonna give us everything we need or should have because they just feel like it, and they're like, well, we're just gonna do great things. No, they need to be pushed by people. They
Mm,
need to be pushed by people, even if they as an individual may or may not need the push. You can be damn sure most of their colleagues do. And
yeah,
that ain't changing anytime soon. That is not going to change anytime soon. So yeah, I mean, so yeah, but money out of politics, definite win, definite needed.
definite.
Um, but
And
it
it's
also,
that money, like whenever you talk about a general strike, like these corporations are scared shitless to lose even a little bit of their profit. So, like, stopping the money from flowing to and from shitty people and shitty corporations, like, yeah, get big money out of politics, but also yes to a general strike. It's such a huge effort. And it can't be like if we just ask like one city's people to do it, like they might just lose their jobs.
yeah,
So
no,
this
it's
has to be mass.
oh, it does, and there's so much involved, and I don't think any one entity knows all the ins and outs because we are in unprecedented times. I
Mhm.
don't think it's funny. Like I talk about a general strike a lot, and I'll get these emails and I know like they're well intentioned emails, but they're like, Ron, it's just read this book and that's everything we need to know, and it's like that. No, it's not, because there's a
Yeah,
pandemic happening right now. There's
right.
like we are in an unprecedented time where the government has really just revealed itself as a complete corporate coup, where people are food and housing insecure, where we're in this digital age. I mean, there's so many just unprecedented things going on at the same time that, yeah, we don't know every T to cross and every I to dot. Um, but we're only gonna find out if we start. And
Mhm.
I know like a couple things. Like I know it's gonna take a massive amount of mutual aid because it's gonna take people being like, all right, these are the people who are going to make sure that the kids are in school, and
Mhm.
usually it'll be digitally in school, be it virtual or otherwise, while this is going on.
Yeah.
This is how we're going to make sure no one's food insecure, how no one's, I mean, all these factors.
Like emergency rent funds and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, and emergency, I mean, medical care too. I mean,
Mhm.
you and I both know this. One of the reasons a lot of other societies strike a hell of a lot easier than us, one of the reasons, there's a lot, but one of the big ones, their healthcare ain't tied to their job.
Isn't it interesting how everything's set up so that this is much more complicated to do here than it is anywhere else? Isn't it interesting?
No shit.
Get your news on with Ron. Don't you wanna know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you wanna know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You can tweet me an article at Ron Placone. We'll go through it together and make it our own. Get your news